This is the new Tesla Semi. This is the long-range 500-mile model.
Putting the driver in the middle of the cab so we could actually have rounder front face and narrower upper portion of the cab just so we could be slicker through the air.
We cut about 1,000 pounds out of the truck. And this long-range truck, the 500-mile version, is about on par, and in part because it's got a 2,000-pound weight exemption that electric vehicles have. This truck can charge at 1.2 megawatts, so we can recover about 60% in 30 minutes. The economics are right, the product is ready, we have the factory standing up, but we have ample demand. On a per-mile basis, this truck is 50% cheaper to run here in California.
Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. We're outside my garage today because the vehicle we're going to be showing you is too big to fit inside. This is the new Tesla Semi. This is the long-range 500-mile model. We have a smaller model with us too. With us is Franz. You know him. He's the director of styling at Tesla. And Dan, the semi-director, right? The whole project. Come on in, guys. How are you? Good to see you again.
Jay. Great to see you again,
Great
Jay.
to see you.
Yeah, very cool. I'm sorry about all the noise. We're at the airport, so we're going to hear some planes in the background. Well, let's talk about design. As a designer, you designed everything in the whole Tesla range, the sports cars, the sedans, and the Semi as well. The idea that something looks aerodynamic is not really aerodynamic, is it? Aerodynamics is a totally different thing than what people think.
Well, on something like this, it's really important to get aerodynamics and the drag coefficient as low as possible.
Right.
And we thought about that from the very beginning and made some really unique architectural design ideas, like putting the driver in the middle of the cab so we could actually have rounder front face and narrower upper portion of the cab just so we could be slicker through the air as we get back to the trailer. And you know, if you remember when we debuted this Semi years back.
Oh, this trailer?
Yeah.
Keep going, and then you'll feel it when it clicks in. Keep going. There we go. Now give it a little throttle.
I don't even feel like I'm pulling anything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You know, we're pushing a good load back there, 60, 70,000 pounds gross vehicle weight, and you're not feeling it.
You gotta make Albuquerque by morning.
We said the drag coefficient was lower than a Bugatti Veyron.
Right.
And through those years, we've actually improved on that. And
what is it now?
From the last time we saw you, it's a 7% improvement on the aero efficiency from before. So it's the CD is about 0.4.
About 0.4, okay. Because I remember when this sort of cab with I know what you call this top piece there, when they put that on gas-powered and diesel-powered truckers thought it was ugly, they hated it, but they realized they got like 20% improvement.
Well, if you think about it, you're trying to move a big box through the air, and so the more bullet-shaped nose you can put on the front of that box, the better.
Well, it's funny, because what we think of aerodynamic, like my Lamborghini Countach, people think this it's a brick. It's worse than a Volkswagen.
The only good thing is it's like an upside-down wing, right? So at least it's got
but it's not aerodynamic at all. And what is aerodynamic is so much different. A Prius, for example, aerodynamic.
Right.
And this is really just pure aerodynamics, isn't it?
The architecture of the truck is really designed around that. So if you think about a traditional truck, has a big motor in the front, transmission down the middle, you have to sit on the side, and therefore you end up being a really wide cabin.
Right.
We didn't have any of that. You know, the battery's down low, it's underneath the floor. We could put the driver anywhere, so we thought, let's put him in the middle, really create a narrow cab that, you know, slowly widens out bullet shape back to the trailer and really maximize aero efficiency. If you were to go back and look at how can you put a more aero efficient nose on the front of a box?
Right.
I mean, it's hard to get more aero efficient than this truck.
Well, Dan, let me ask you, you're the director here. Is your job to convince, I mean, there's no more old school than truckers. Trucks have looked the same since 1918. The first different truck was the Corvair, the Corvair truck with the engine in the back, and that was just, what? I mean, people just rebelled. Even when they did the Ford F-150 Lightning, they had trucker door handles, and manly things, no touch screen, none of that. I mean, you're really trying to change a whole culture with this, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time interviewing drivers, listening to them, collecting feedback, both before we unveiled the original one, but then in the last few years, we've collected a lot of fleet feedback from all the drivers that have spent time in the truck. And they really appreciate the electric design because it's quiet, it's smooth, it's a really good place to work. They're spending half a day at a time in the truck. And so it's a really important work and office space, not just the thing they're moving down the road. And if we wanted to make it extremely comfortable, give them really good visibility, you're right that sometimes we get some skeptical drivers, but when they get behind it and they see all the benefits, they come around really quickly, and that's a theme that we've continued to see over and over.
Yeah, what's the most surprising thing? You talk to some guys and, they do yoga on the road. You have to truckers doing yoga, but because it helps them in their job because they're sitting all day. I mean, was there feedback where you went, we didn't expect this at all? Is it pretty much what you thought?
There are kind of two pieces to it. On the operational side, folks are really happy with the range and the performance of the truck. We're starting to get away from the misconceptions that electric is bad, and we've done that on the light duty side for years. But now, for the truck side, it's got the range, it has the power and the efficiency to do their job. So it enables their job, and that's the bare minimum requirement. They're really satisfied with how that has gone. And now it's about what's the experience. And the feedback there has been stellar. Again, it's quiet, they love the seat, it's really smooth. So just the power delivery and how easy it is to drive is another thing that has been a nice confirmation of the thesis we had at the start.
Is this the kind of vehicle an independent trucker could buy for himself, or is it just mostly fleet sales, FedEx and that kind of thing? Because I think as an independent trucker, their big thing is fuel costs. Like now they're going crazy because fuel is up 10 cents a gallon, 15 cents a gallon. That's their whole profit when you're using 3,000 gallons of fuel, Can an independent buy this and use it as an independent trucker?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we actually have seen a large surge in interest from smaller regional fleets along with independent owner-operators. And that's because, one, electric prices are more stable. They're less likely to have those fluctuations that diesel prices do. So it gives them some assurance. Secondly, we've been really public about our intent to put charging out into the world. So we're launching a mega charging network for the Semi so that there's charging beyond what might be where the truck is parked overnight. And also we have service to go along with that. We already have service centers and we have charging stations down here in the Los Angeles area. So by putting those things out into the world, those independent drivers have confidence that they have the support they need to do their job.
Yeah, I remember when Elon came in 2007 with the original Roadster. We're going to build this electric car. I'm going to have charging stations all along the road, like to San Francisco. I'm going, yeah, right. And and really until recently, even major manufacturers built electric cars. Oh, you can charge anywhere. Well, no, you can't. I mean, you guys are the only ones that were building the infrastructure as you were building the car, which I just thought was pretty amazing. I mean, it's hard enough to build a car, and while you're doing it, you're convinced it's going to be so successful, you start buying property. Yeah, I think that's great.
Well, I think it also helps people feel convinced about the product, right? Knowing that there's a service center. If there's an issue, they can go somewhere that they can charge it. If they can't charge it at home, they can charge anywhere. You can go cross country right at the beginning. So that ease of mind, like the range anxiety goes away, right? And now you can go anywhere, just like
the odd thing to me is that electricity has become political. I'd like one, but I'm a Republican. I don't get why it's political. It's electricity.
Yeah.
And to me, I have gas and electric. I have both. And when I go to the airport, I have to take a long trip. I take the electric because sitting on the 405 in a '66 Coronet with a Hemi is not really very, it's not fun and it's a lot of money.
Right.
Let's talk about tires. If you own one of these, do you use ordinary truck tires or do you have to buy special Tesla low rolling resistance? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing special or unique that's for this truck. So we can use off-the-shelf tires. We have a recommended set that help you extend your range because the rolling resistance is a large piece of it, but you can put any set of tires on that work for your operation.
Does this weigh more than the equivalent gasoline truck?
Yeah, so since the last time we were here, we cut about 1,000 pounds out of the truck. And this long-range truck, the 500-mile version, is about on par, and in part because it's got a 2,000-pound weight exemption that electric vehicles have. So payload parity is very possible for most applications. What we hear from customers is they usually like to haul about a 45,000-pound payload, and we can definitely do that with this truck. It's out doing it every day. The standard range, which we'll see later, is even lighter and really has a good potential to slot into basically any weight equivalent operation.
Well, the thing that amazed me was the Cybertruck is 2 tons lighter than the Hummer.
Yeah.
Electric.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 tons.
Yeah.
I assume they'd be about the same batteries, but they're not. You're really making a low.
Well, the battery size in the Cybertruck is half that of
Right.
the one in the Hummer.
But
So
the
you're
equivalent.
equivalent
power.
energy at the end of the day. Yeah.
And touching back on the aerodynamics, part of why it's so important is that if we want to do a certain amount of range in the day, 500 miles in this case, we need a certain amount of energy to do it. If you make the truck more aerodynamic, that's
Right.
less battery on board,
Yeah.
lighter truck,
Yeah.
more payload you can carry. There's a really great compounding effect there.
And does this regen also as it goes down the road?
Yeah, that's right. So
Okay.
we've got full capability for regen to go down steep grades at highway speed and keep you in control. So whether that's like Grapevine, which you've got here locally, or some of the other big passes, you can descend those comfortably and never touch the brakes.
Right.
And we've got ample power both to take you up the grade and down the grade without ever changing from the speed limit. So you're never a dog in the right lane and everybody's flying by you, and going down, you never have to touch the brakes.
It's like
so
a
it's great
more
control and
modern
safety.
version of engine braking, right?
Yeah, because diesel
like
trucks.
the air brake.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. But much finer control, and cruise control will keep you at that speed using that regen to do it.
Well, it's interesting because you guys were here 2 years ago with this, and in that time you've made a couple of thousand?
We made a few hundred of them, yeah.
A few hundred of them. But I just like, it's just a quiet rollout, just see how it goes. I mean, I've seen a few around, and I wonder, why isn't there more publicity on this? But it's sort of just R&D, isn't it, the whole time?
Well, it's also about exposing it to our customers and getting
Right.
them comfortable. And we've got a lot of feedback, and that's why now we feel is the time for scale. The economics are right, the product is ready, we have the factory standing up, but we have ample demand, and the fleet that's been out there now with a few hundred trucks has driven more than 13.5 million miles. Our lead truck is at almost 440,000. That they're out running really hard every day, doing good work. These aren't just demo show trucks.
Right.
So there's a lot of confidence that's been built up.
And your maintenance, there's no oil change, obviously. There's no brake fluid, maybe?
No, because these are air brakes. So maintenance
yeah.
on them is really low. And the service team has been exceptional with our, the fleet time is usually up 95% uptime. Almost 75-80% of breakdowns, if you have one, are returned back to the customer in less than 24 hours.
Okay.
And it's actually almost half are back to a customer within an hour. So we're right there with rapid response. And we've designed the truck to be easy to maintain because the truck makes you money. So even if you're a fleet or an owner operator, you've got to get that truck and that tool back on the road.
And what is the most common breakdown? I mean, electric motors don't really require any maintenance at all, do they?
No, the drivetrain is extremely reliable, whether it's the battery pack itself or the motors. Those are the extremely reliable components. But trucks do a lot of different work and get a lot of stuff thrown at them. And so we do have the occasional wear out issue. You can get some lines rubbing, for example, and we've taken all those learnings and fed them back into the updated high volume design that we've got here today. And the level of engineering has really upped that and improved the reliability substantially.
Now this can drive all night because a driver doesn't have to stop at 500 miles or get his wife to drive the other half, those teams that do it. So that's an advantage, isn't it, if it's autonomous?
Yeah, so we as a company really believe in autonomy, and autonomy has an opportunity to increase not just the convenience for the driver, but also a huge amount of safety. And that's really where we're coming with a lot of the features that we're introducing. And it's safety both for the driver that's operating at start, but also for everybody else on the road. Is we have a lot of sensors. We use the cameras on board to ensure the vehicle knows its surroundings. And then we use all the integrated software that Tesla has been developing to keep the vehicle in control. And it's really about safety is our primary goal there.
Let's say you're going to Salina, Kansas. You got your 500 miles. You pull into is it sort of like an airplane coming in? Does someone, say a Tesla truck coming in for refuel or recharge? How does that work?
I mean, you could have an attendant that would plug it in, for example, but we also see an opportunity for doing automated charging in the future as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, something we're working on with the cars. So.
Oh, it just pulls in and automatically.
Yeah.
Hook.
Yep.
Oh, I guess like a thing you drive over.
Exactly.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, conductive charge.
Okay, how long does a 500-mile charge take?
So this truck can charge at 1.2 megawatts.
Right.
And so we can recover about 60% in 30 minutes.
Wow,
So
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what the idea is with a 500-mile charge, driver can go out and do their day. Now, for some areas, 500 miles is ample for your entire operation.
Right.
But let's just say you need to stop and charge. You do that during your mandatory 30-minute break, and you can recover up to 300 miles of additional range to extend your day. So it really covers a huge majority of the envelope of truck operations within a single driver shift. And there's no penalty for charging. You're never stopping exclusively for charging.
Right. Oh, I see. Oh, well, that's that's pretty amazing.
It's really impressive. And we talked a little bit about the architecture, and still sticking with the center driver.
Right.
Dan talked about how the interior cabin is actually the office for the operator. And when you go inside, you'll see you can actually stand up. You can have multiple people in that space. That would be the same footprint as a normal truck, where you only have the ability to sit in your seat. So a lot more flexible space on the inside. But in the front end of the truck, we updated the graphics. We have a much more modern light bar now that we didn't have on the previous version, similar to Cybertruck and Cybercab. So really kind of pushing this new design direction. It feels more modern, I think. And we've just, like we touched on, we've been working on the aerodynamics of the truck and just improving. So there's a lot of, the general shape of the truck looks the same.
We've made a lot of engineering improvements since the last time we were here. And it's been mostly in the name of moving towards high volume. So that's updated designs for high manufacturability and tooling. But also we've taken a lot of the engineering from other products and brought it into the Semi. We've gone from a hydraulic steering system, a hydraulic assist, to now it's a fully electric assist. Okay. So it's still a connected system. It's not steer by wire, but we've brought over the Cybertruck actuators, beefed them up a little bit because of the steering loads, but we've brought that over. It's a 48 volt architecture now throughout the vehicle on low voltage. Yep. So we still do local down conversion for 12 volt accessories that a driver might need, for example, but we've brought that next generation 48 volt architecture that Cybertruck debuted with, because it's just more efficient and it's a lot less mass and wiring harnesses. We've updated communications. There's been a huge uptick in the engineering to bring this truck really into the same portfolio that the rest of the products are that we have.
And are these lithium-ion batteries, or even something more advanced than that? Lithium-ion.
So this is lithium ion,
right,
and we're leveraging the same cell type that we use in the Cybertruck. It's arranged in a different array within the truck, but it's all into modules and then packs that are low to the ground, so it keeps center of gravity low. It's integrated really densely with the overall chassis to maximize structural performance and keep the weight down. So we're taking a lot of the same lessons from the car side, including the cell itself, into the battery design here.
And how rebuildable are these? I mean, lithium ion, could the battery last the life of the vehicle, or is it, you know, half a million miles, that's it, you need a new battery pack?
The battery is designed to last 1 million miles.
Right.
You will see some degradation over time, but we see that it can last in its original duty cycle 1 million miles.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I have that McLaren P1, and that has a hybrid system in it. And my battery is 12 years old, and it's 92% still.
Yeah.
Because I keep it on a charger. I know other guys are on their third battery because, you know, they go to Europe for a month and they come back and things dead, and then they've got to shock it back to life.
User neglect.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you have a vehicle like this, is it better to keep it on the charger all the time?
Well, the best thing to do is actually get it on the road all the time.
Right.
Because that's how it makes you money. So the cells and the battery is actually designed, we think about it, it's a little bit more like one of our energy products, like our Megapack or Powerwall on wheels.
Right.
It is doing a lot of discharges. It does like 1 a day, so it's up and down. It's not like a car where you might only be doing 10 or 20% a day. The benefit here is that you've got a cell and a battery that is designed for that throughput. You really want this on the road. The more energy throughput you are putting through the system, the greater fuel savings you have compared to if you were doing that work with diesel. So it's really about getting it on the road as much as you can.
And the thing that amazed me was, I always wonder, well, how could they have a center driving position? Because you can't have it in a car because there's no way for the airbags. But trucks don't need airbags or any of that, do they?
Yeah,
even
current
gas
regulations,
trucks. I never knew that. I just assumed all vehicles produced in the United States had to have an airbag, but trucks don't.
Trucks do not. Yeah, there's actually very few overall safety regulations. Like brakes are highly regulated, there's some testing for that, but there's no mandatory crash testing, there's no airbag requirement. Even the advanced safety features are far behind what is mandatory on the car side.
Wow.
So we're
scary place to work, right?
Yeah, so we're really leaning into the safety side on this and trying to make it the safest truck on the road, both for the occupant, but also for everybody else around.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Now this is, as you mentioned, the long range truck. It's a little bit bigger. We have a smaller one over here, right?
Yeah.
And what's the range on that one?
That one does about 325 miles on a single
okay,
charge.
so that mostly for running around the city, Port of LA, go to
Right,
exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's so funny here in California, you know. I used to think Disneyland was 120 miles from here because it took 2.5 hours.
Right.
It's 38 miles.
Yeah.
But when you Google it, it's 2.5 hours or 3 hours. I go, how could that be? I just assumed it was 100 miles away. I went, no, okay. So that's the one we're going to drive, the smaller one.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Well, let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Let's do it.
Come on. Okay, we're in front of the shorter range model. I guess this panel is bigger on the other one, this part here. It's a little different. And I guess there's no driver's side. Either side.
Yeah, get in whatever side is convenient.
In the middle, like the McLaren F1.
Yeah,
so there you go.
exactly.
Very cool. Now this.
Yeah, so that's new. The last truck that we had a single pane, and it would tilt out, and you'd have to, you know, pass clipboards through and go around.
Yeah.
And we found that was really, you know, not really convenient.
Right.
So we worked on getting a drop glass, so now you can pass through. You can reach out to gates and have access.
Oh, all right. That's
just makes the
cool.
experience in and out much better.
Now let me ask you something. Let's say I need to go to Minnesota, North Dakota. It's December. I mean, electric cars are somewhat notorious in cold weather for mileage drops 20%, 30%. Is that a problem with this, or how is it different?
We do a lot of extensive cold weather testing.
Yeah.
Actually, right now we have several trucks up in Alaska doing that. And so we try to expose it to different cold temps as well as different types of snow and ice because it all builds up differently on the truck. But the truck performs exceptionally well, whether that's because it has instant traction control from the benefit of electric motors, but also we've done a lot to incorporate a thermal system with our heat pump that's really efficient. And so we can move thermal energy throughout the vehicle very quickly. We can scavenge it from the outside. We can bring it from the battery pack or the motors that are working hard, put it in the cab. So we can move thermal energy all around the truck to keep it in the most optimal and efficient operating point.
Right.
So the range drop isn't nearly as big as what is usually thought. You do have it because we can't fight the fact the air is denser, the tires don't roll as well. So you do see a degradation, but you would see a similar effect on diesel trucks as well.
Okay, so let's say I'm in Nome, Alaska. I go to a hotel. This truck is essentially running all night, right? Because the heat pump keeps it circulating all the time? Is that
No, actually it does go idle and it's not running. But the battery pack actually retains a lot of mass in part because of its shape. So it's a cube as opposed to a pancake. So it stays warm pretty much overnight, even in extremely cold temperatures. So it'll be ready for operation the next day.
Now, I was always led to believe about 74 degrees Fahrenheit is about the optimum, the best temperature for an electric battery. Is that still true today, or is that just an old thing?
From an efficiency standpoint, yeah, about that. Like
20,
30 C is about where we see peak efficiency.
Right.
But the battery pack is independently controlled in terms of temperature, and it's much happier to actually run at a slightly warmer temperature.
Right.
You get better performance, greater efficiency of energy in and out of the battery pack, and that's where that thermal system does a really good job of keeping it at its optimal performance temperature.
So it, like a diesel truck, it's a liquid-cooled battery system.
Yeah, that's right. So we've brought out over a lot of the same componentry that we have from our passenger car side. So same compressor, same pumps, a lot of the same valves, also that we have high volume and high reliability, but it's actually a really elegant solution for moving this liquid. It's just a standard automotive coolant throughout the system.
But non-water, it's like a, what is it called?
It's usually, it's a glycol water-based solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it is water. Oh, it is water-based.
Yeah, it's a mix.
Okay, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, very cool. How often do you change that? Every 500,000 miles, or I
Never.
Guess,
You know,
I guess you never do, huh?
No, it's. I mean, it is serviceable, and so if you end up swapping a component that has coolant in it, you might need to top it off. But it's designed to have a system that you don't need to do any service or maintenance
so
on.
it's life of the car coolant, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. Very, very good. And let me ask about. You see a lot of the big food trucks and you're transporting beef across the country. It's got to be frozen. It plugs into the electrical system and the diesel. Same thing here?
Yeah, so on a traditional trailer, they have an independent refrigerated unit that has its own diesel pony motor on it to keep the refrigeration at the right temperature in the trailer. But for us, it felt wrong. Like, why do we have an electric truck that is then also pulling a diesel engine on the back of it?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. And also, they're really noisy. They actually consume a lot of fuel. They're not very efficient. And so we said, let's see if we can power that off of the truck itself. So we're actually using the same power electronics that we use from the Cybertruck that can power a home, for example.
Right.
We've reconfigured those to power a refrigerated trailer unit. And so now the whole combination can be electric. And it doesn't just have to be refrigerated units. It could be other electrical high power accessories. So if you had a production truck, for example, for the entertainment industry, that could power it. It's meant to be a universal interface that folks can use as an electric power takeoff rather than powering accessories off of an independent generator or what they usually do, which is like a hydraulic system off the truck itself.
Do I lose any of my 500-mile range with that electric?
It is an additional energy draw, so that just goes into the modeling and understanding what is your operation, how does it work for you. But we find that that additional energy, again, is a fuel savings payback because those small generators and engines are really inefficient.
Right, okay. All right, very cool. Well, let's take it for a spin.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, Franz, I know you've got to go finish designing my
Your
Tesla Roadster.
Yes.
I've been waiting for my Tesla Roadster. The anticipation, it seems to keep getting more exciting. It's got all kinds of trick stuff on it. So
we won't disappoint.
No,
You'll enjoy it.
All right,
enjoy your ride.
All right.
You're in good
we'll
hands
let you
with
know
them.
how it goes. I can get on either side. Oh, you still got to come around this side.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it.
I think this would be the definition of commanding view of the road.
Yes.
And I guess you just use your iPhone for music or entertainment, right?
Yeah, you can. We also have brought over a lot of the infotainment from the car side, so we have the same built-in apps, but a lot of drivers do stream from their phone as well. Yeah, Jay, you were actually the first non-Tesla person to be operating the vehicle.
Oh, is that right? Well,
Yeah.
that's an honor. Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of it. You know, anything that gives you alternatives to what you have is good because, you know, I mean, you look at this war going on in Iran now. I mean, so you need alternative forms of transportation. The more we have, the better.
Yeah, and thankfully electric really does insulate you from a lot of those fluctuations, and you can be entirely self-generating if you want between solar and then storage and putting charging on your site. You can be really energy independent on your own.
Do you guys investigate fusion at all? For the last 50 years, fusion was going to be the big one at some point.
Yeah.
I just wondered when it would get here.
And it might get there. We like to say, though, that we do have a giant, very reliable fusion reactor in the sky. That is the sun.
Right.
And we want to use solar to capture that energy.
Right.
And that's going to continue to shine every day. So let's harness that first.
Yeah, right. I guess that's true. Yeah, when that stops shining, you got bigger problems.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plus, there's a psychological effect, like with the hydrogen car. The Hindenburg did not blow up. There's no hydrogen. It was cellulose paint, but people get it in their mind, you know. It's funny how rumors, you know, last night I drove my Corvair. One guy said to me, these blow up, right? I go, no, they don't blow up. No, they don't blow up. It's air cooled, it's not going to blow up. It's certainly easy enough to drive.
Especially without a trailer. It basically drives like one of our cars.
Right.
It's a big car, very easy. It's a great experience. No shifting. A lot of the aspects that are great about electrification, instant torque response, just make a truck driving experience that much better.
Does it make any difference to an electric motor how fast it's spinning? For example, if you put a 2-speed rear end in this, and you get up above 60, and then the RPM cuts in half, do you save more electricity or no?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And motors operate a little differently in terms of their torque and power curve than an engine would.
Right.
And they solve a lot of the needs of what they have to do by gearing. We've chosen a different strategy. So there is no shifting. We could do a 2-speed, but that's a lot of intricate mechanicals, and it represents a potential reliability issue. So we've taken a different approach. So we have 2 axles. We have the torque axle on the front, and that's geared for acceleration, for hill climb, those big power maneuvers. And then we have a separate axle that is geared for efficiency. So when you get to highway speed, the torque axle actually completely disengages. The wheels are still on the ground, but there's nothing spinning internal that could be drag that would have an efficiency penalty. So we try to give you really smooth torque delivery throughout the entire band, all the power you need, but then also get to maximum efficiency when you're out on the highway.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I have a white steam car. 19, well, I got a bunch of them, 1910, 1970. And they have a 2-speed rear end. And the idea being that well, your evolution, well, it's totally different. You know, a gas car, you're trying to get the heat out. Steam car, you're trying to keep the heat in. But the 2-speed rear end works. It's the only steam car ever developed with the 2-speed rear end, because with 1,000 foot-pounds of torque from zero, you don't really need it. But it just drops the revs and the amount of vibration and everything. I mean, it's a fascinating. You would get a kick out of the white steam car.
Yeah,
it is true. It is truly a Edwardian scientific instrument. It has a thing called the flow motor. It all works on temperature and pressure. It's all mechanical, no electric. It's really the ultimate steampunk kind of vehicle.
That's neat.
And real steampunk, not phony steampunk. I mean, it's pretty cool.
The original Roadster actually had a 2-speed.
I know, I broke it. He brought it to the garage, and I shifted, and by the time we got back, it was in trouble. It couldn't take the tremendous amount of torque.
And now we eventually bias towards a single speed for all of our cars, but then with the advent of the plaid powertrain, we've taken a similar approach over here on Semi of being able to increase the motor RPM, decrease the gap between the rotor and the stator. We've really been able to get a much flatter torque curve so that you don't get that power degradation as the RPMs get near their top end. And so we have really eliminated the need for that 2-speed, but we've solved it here by doing just 2 different axle gear ratios entirely.
Well, that's interesting, yeah. Well, I got something you'd also get a kick out of. My Chrysler turbine car.
Yeah.
Do you know the story on that? I got it about 15 years ago.
I only know of it, I don't know the story.
Oh, well, the engine melted down on me. I mean, literally, and there's no parts. So we found 60 guys from the original team, all over the age of 80. And they said, we'll build you a new motor, you just pay for parts. So Williams Turbines in Detroit, his father worked on the original turbine car project. He gave us a clean room. And these guys, they brought out all their engineering plans from 1962, all the ideas that they never got to incorporate, and they built a brand new turbine. I mean, it's fascinating. I'll show it to you. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that type of engineering and innovation and willing to just try new things it resulted in a lot of really cool stuff in the automotive space over the years.
It is cool. Because even in 1906, a third was electric, a third was steam, and a third was internal combustion, and they didn't know which one was going to win.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting.
Yeah, and now in the heavy truck space, while it's been dominated by diesel, we're really making a play to switch it to electric, and it's not just because from a sustainability point it's great, it's really about economics.
Right.
On a per mile basis, this truck is, from an energy standpoint, 50% cheaper to run here in California. And when you talk about across the U.S., we're nearly 20% cheaper on a per mile basis, and that's inclusive of everything, not just energy.
Right.
Whether it's reduced maintenance and just fuel as well. So we're really talking about total cost of ownership being substantially less, which will really get a lot of people to adopt it.
You know, I used to love the Chevy Volt with the paddles here. Rather than use the brake, you'd squeeze the paddles to increase the amount of regen.
Yeah.
You know, and I just liked the idea, like, and I would watch it, oh, I gained a mile, you know.
Yeah, we've really moved towards just controlling that throttle, including regen with your foot.
And Ford canceled their electric Lightning, the F-150.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they're making new investments into a new platform that will allow them to go to electric at scale and profitably, because we want more players in the space. And whether that's on the light duty side or on the heavy duty side, we can't go this alone. We really need everybody all in.
I thought the Lightning was a great vehicle. It was a nice transition. Had all the truck, switch gear and everything. I drove it for a while, and I saved a fortune in gas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so incredibly easy to drive. You get a commanding view of the road. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the feedback we consistently get from drivers. And we do a lot of demos with our customers, and we'll work with small or big fleets, and they can demo the truck for several weeks, put it in their operations, and make sure it's going to work for them. And the consistent feedback that they give us is the worst part of the demo is we have to give the truck back.
Right.
So we've been really proud of what we've been able to showcase, and now we've got a long list of interested customers. We get the question a lot, why did we get into the heavy truck space? And the reason is that the medium space, as opposed to doing a delivery van or some type of walk-in van, that space is a little tough because you're not actually consuming that much fuel.
Right.
You're going low speeds, short distances throughout the day. And so, especially early on when you're trying to bring electric vehicles to scale and there's a price premium, it's really difficult to pay back that investment.
Well, to me, it's kind of like the restaurant industry. You can make money at the high end, or make money at the low end.
Sure.
It's when you open a Denny's or a sit-down restaurant with a waitress and a tip. That's where you suffer.
Yeah.
You go to a regular restaurant with your friend. It's $60. What do we have?
Right. And so here in the heavy truck space, on the high end of the vehicle classes, you have that fuel consumption, that energy throughput that allows you to make a return on your investment of buying a new truck. And so that's been the thesis the entire time, and why we went from light duty side all the way up to the Class 8 trucks and skipped the middle. Yeah, one of the things that we did, I saw you looking to make that maneuver, is we've updated the mirror, made it a little longer to give you from, if you're hauling a trailer, without ever moving the mirror, you can see all the way from the top of the trailer down to your drive tires here on the tractor, and that just gives you really good visibility of what's going on next to you.
Does this have adjustable suspension?
Yes, it does. So it has an air suspension, and it's really valuable when trying to pick up a trailer, for example, because you want to duck underneath it and then lift it up. So having that ride height adjustability is really critical. And then at low speed, you can run a higher ride height if you need to clear an obstacle, for example. Yeah, and so last time that we drove, Jay, you were driving the 500-mile range truck, our long range.
Right.
And this is the 325 version, our standard range.
Same power, basically, right?
Most of the vehicle is the same. It's the same drivetrain to the back. The cab is the same. The front axle is the same. It's really the middle. Essentially, on the long range truck, we have 3 batteries in parallel.
Right.
And on the standard range truck, what we do is we remove that battery and shrink the wheelbase accordingly. So you end up with a lighter, less expensive, more maneuverable tractor.
Right.
So if you don't need the big energy that the long range provides, this is a great truck, especially for those urban routes, going to the port, doing deliveries.
And you can pull exactly the same load, right?
Same load, yeah, zero compromise in capability.
Yeah, acceleration is very good.
Yeah. It helps, especially when you're coming off a stoplight, for example. If your other drivers around, you no longer have to worry about getting stuck behind that slow truck and you want to zoom past or try to duck in. So that experience has been welcomed by the drivers that have had a chance to operate this. Yeah, we're really excited to bring this vehicle to high volume production this year. We're opening our factory outside of Reno, Nevada, right next to our Gigafactory where we do batteries and motors for our other cars.
So you'll just build these, no sedans or...
That's right. It's a ground up new factory exclusively for the semi.
That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome that we're going to get to reinvest in that same area. And by going to high volume, a factory that could do 50,000 units a year, we're really able to drive down costs and make this economically viable throughout the US. And then we also plan to take this design and bring the truck to Europe as well.
And no air brake.
No, this truck does have air brakes.
Oh, it does? Oh.
Yeah, so standard air friction brakes. It is unique, and you might occasionally hear some valve clicking, and this is a brake-by-wire system in that you're commanding some valves to move, so it's still pneumatically actuated, but it is electronically controlled. So it gives you a really high degree of precision, and we're excited to be bringing that system to market here in the US. Because the other thing is all the trailers out there have air brakes, so we need to be able to interface with those.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
And not need a custom trailer. Yeah, so we have a lot of the same user interface components that we do on the car side, but we also bring in some truck flair to it for the additional controls the driver needs. But then we will do a similar routing. So if you ask the truck where you want it to go, it will route you accordingly using only valid truck routes.
Right.
And then in addition, it will, if you need to, route to one of our public charging stations for semi-trucks. So one of our mega chargers, and it will do that exact same behavior that you might have in your car, where it preps the car for charging, it tells you what the station availability is. And so we really want to bring that seamless charging experience over to the truck. So Jay, what do you think of the seat?
Seat's very comfortable.
Yeah, so the seat is actually a fully in-house Tesla design.
Is that right?
Yeah. We know that drivers really like to have a comfortable seat, and so we wanted to put a high premium on that.
And it has does it recline as well?
It does, yeah. It'll be on
here.
your left side there.
There you go,
Yep. And we're doing a couple different things that are neat there. One is that, so your recline position, for example, that's stored to memory, so your driver profile. So any driver that gets into any one of our trucks, their seat position and their settings come with them.
Oh, I see.
So that way, if you're in a fleet, it always feels like it's your truck.
Very good. And
then also, we've brought over an electric retractor. It allows us to really sense seatbelt usage, but also in the event of an incident, we can cinch down and really keep the driver well secured during an accident.
Nice turning radius.
Yeah, the turning radius.
Boy, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the turning radius in our trucks are really good, but in the standard range in particular, it's about the same as our Model 3 or Model Y.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the independent front suspension enabled a high degree of wheel cut. And it goes a little bit back to what Franz was talking about with rethinking the shape of everything. It gives us that high wheel cut for greater maneuverability.
You never have any overheating issues with electric motor, do you? Do you, or do you? Is it possible?
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
It's possible, but we've designed the truck that you can pretty much take on any highway grade, which is usually where the motors are getting stressed the hardest. You can take on any highway grade, and before you run into a thermal limit, you actually run out of grade, because the hills are only so long. And so we've really optimized to give you performance consistent across, regardless of what road type you run into.
And what wears an electric motor? I mean, in the old days, it would be the brushes.
Yeah.
You had the carbon brushes, then you had brushless motors. So what would wear out after 1,000,000 miles?
I mean, there's not much to wear out. Maybe some bearings, but that's about it. There's not much there, and we're really confident in the design of the powertrain to last that entire time. And even if you did have an issue, we're trying to bring over the reliability from our other platforms. So the motor, actually, we share the same stator and we share the same inverter of what we do on Cybertruck. So it's a mass manufactured, high reliability, really well understood component. And then if you do have an issue, we have service centers that we're putting around, but also we do a lot of service using mobile service. So we send technicians out in cars to come to where the truck is to help you, including roadside assistance. Because we know that if the truck is down, you want to get it off the road as quickly as you can and back on the road. And so we've really set up a service network accordingly to do that.
Have you got a price on what one of these trucks is just yet, or no?
Yeah, we haven't disclosed pricing, but again, for most applications, payback is in the first few years of operation compared to running a diesel. One of the areas, Jay, that has changed since the last truck is the steering. So it's fully electric assist now.
Oh, you mentioned that, no more hydraulic.
Yeah, and we think it's the first time that somebody's done it on electric or a heavy-duty platform. And it's a neat system. We've got 2 different power actuators. They're independently fed from power as well as communications. So they're very redundant, So that's really important when we talk about safety as well as then eventually autonomy.
There's no mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the front wheels. Is that correct?
No, there is. So this
there is?
Yeah, this is not steer by wire. It's an electric assist steering.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so there's still a shaft, but rather than doing the assist by hydraulic, which is a waste because it's just energy conversion,
Right.
we get to do it with pure electric.
Now, is that mandated by law that you must have a mechanical connection?
No, it's not. And the Cybertruck, for example, is full steer-by-wire.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I thought maybe with heavy-duty trucks you must, in case it's a failure, you must have a manual,
Nope.
No, it's interesting. And everything still moves by truck, doesn't it? It's like when the trucks took away from the railroads,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not in a world yet where they're transporting something other than trucks. Trucks are still the main thing, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. It's about 65-ish% of goods in the United States are moved by truck,
Right.
and about 75% of the goods by value.
Yeah.
So, trucking, there's a phrase, if you bought it, a truck brought it.
Right.
And they really run and they connect all the other forms of transportation. But it's amazing. Heavy trucks, they're only about 1% of vehicles on the road.
Right.
But they account for 16 to 18% of fuel consumed because they're heavy, they're running fast
Sure.
all the time, and they're out for long stretches of the day.
Yeah.
So you're putting 100,000 plus miles on a heavy truck in a year.
But very good. Thanks for making me the first one, allowing me to be the first one to drive it. It's very impressive. I've been a Tesla fan since the beginning because to me, the great thing about electric vehicles is they allow me to enjoy my internal combustion vehicles, and they sort of save the gasoline for me, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I mean, to me, the internal combustion stuff, hot rods, Mustangs, like snowmobiles, you use them on weekends for recreation, you go to car shows, you do track days. When you do day-to-day transportation, going to the airport, running errands, electric just seems like the way to do it. And I think it's really smart to always have another form of propulsion in your back pocket, another form of energy in case war or something else gets in the way. So Dan, thank you very much, my friend.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Yeah,
It's great.
the improvements in just the 2 years since you were here last is pretty amazing. And I like this kind of slow rollout. Let's not get it out there until it's ready. And this is the year it's ready, isn't it?
It's ready. We're going to high volume this year and
Okay.
looking forward to getting into the hands of any driver that wants it.
There you go. So we'll see you on the road. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit of new technology. I certainly did. It's really exciting. It's great fun to see. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And Franz, thank you very much. Hey, and finish my roadster, will you, please? Thank you very much. All right. See you guys next week.